throwers sort of were really good for a little while, like years ago, and then they kind of weren't, and then they were again. And I wouldn't say my tune is good now at all. It's just fun, but I wouldn't call it good. And I use Hunt's End all the time. So if they're nerfing that, then I honestly don't know what I'm going to do to get damage, because that Hunt's End was the only thing that would give me like burst. So no idea what's going to happen with that character. It may be that I park that character and never play it. I mean, we'll just have to see
This
what
is where
happens with
Morgrave is holding the Codex of the Infinite Planes.
the update.
The librarian suddenly grabs the book. What? No, I won't let him do that to you. We'll escape together before he gets here. A burst of powerful magic knocks you down. When you find your feet again,
Yeah,
you see that the librarian has run off with the Codex
I mean, I
of the
have
Infinite
expected
Planes.
to do
Or
all
has
the
the
extra
Codex run
hits,
off with
but
the
yeah,
librarian?
it's with Hunt's End. It's really big damage, so it's nice. Like, I'm not quite sure, like I said, what's gonna happen. Like, I don't think the new pin is gonna do it. I just don't think it's gonna matter. So it may be that I cannot even play that character anymore.
Don't try to stop us! We command the power of the plains! Here's a page on the Feywild to slow you down!
We'll see.
Summon
Trying to be
Fey
optimistic
and
about
spring to the attack.
the update. A lot of people are pulling their hair out. I'm trying to keep an open mind. I keep focusing on like the reality that the game is in a really good spot. You know what I mean? And as evidenced by the hardcore season, where
Look, one of the
we were
pages that
basically
was
all
cruelly
first
torn
life
from you.
tunes, running around doing R4s and
What's that? There are more.
being successful,
We must find
which is
The
really
librarian
cool, like
stops
that
in her
we
tracks,
could do that
completely
on first
absorbed
life
by her power
characters. It's
station.
not like I
Ava,
invested a
the
lot of
gatekeeper,
money
desperately tries to
in
get your
tomes
attention. The
or
librarian finally snaps
stuff,
out of her
you know,
stupor.
like I loot
Yes,
farmed,
we'll
but
track
that's
the
it. I
pages down.
didn't TR
I
at all,
cannot
like
see them clearly.
completely
Show me the way.
out of the
She runs off,
box, and
searching
I was
for more
able to do
codex pages.
R4s and get, 1.5 million Reaper XP on hardcore. Yes, there are extra lives, right? So that's a huge thing, but at the same time, it's just evidence that the game is in a really good spot as far as like our power goes. And even if they nerf a bunch of stuff, it's gonna suck for like individual builds, and it's probably gonna piss a lot of people off who rely on Draconic and Exalted Angel. And me, I'm really worried that they're gonna kill Primal Avatar. But
They're still after us. What's that? Very well.
we'll
This
see. I'll
time,
just do the
we'll
best I
try the
can
power
with
of
whatever
chaos.
is
More summoned
the new
creatures appear,
shiny
and to your astonishment,
toy.
the magically warded librarian makes her escape.
Maybe
by
it's
crashing through the
Shirati,
window.
maybe it's Batesinger. Who knows? I might put my thrower in Shadow Dancer, like, because the Epic Strike looks really good for Shadow Dancer. And yeah, Fatesinger might be the one to do. Like, I'm not sure yet. But I know Pin from Shirati has a 15-second cooldown, and whatever the one over in Shadow Dancer is only has an 8-second cooldown. And the damage modifier on Shadow Dancer is a lot better. So
Bringing
we'll
creatures
see.
from other planes doesn't stop you. Then we'll send you to other planes instead. The librarian summons some kind of magical field, then runs off. Color drains from the world as you are pulled into the shadow.
And I have a feeling I'm not going to be using Carrion Swarm anymore. mean, not if the changes that I read go through. They're basically just going to make it like 10d6 damage. And that, I mean, if you look at the damage that I'm doing now with my acid ticks, like I just did one for 1200. That one was like 600. There's another one for 400. Like there's another 400. So that's 400. And then if they take poison damage, they're also taking the same, you know, or similar in poison damage. So while it's not a ton of DPS, it's, I think now it scales to my level, right? Like they not only did they nerf the dice, but they also capped the max caster level at level 20.
You're
So
back? Ugh, to the abyss with you.
yeah.
Oh, why not? And the
And they
plain
made it
water,
so it has a
too.
saving throw, so now like a tank probably won't use it because they won't be able to do any damage with it.
You suddenly find yourself completely submerged, as if you've been transported to the elemental plane of water in the wink of an eye.
So we'll see. I don't know yet what's gonna happen with my build. It may be that playing a warlock is not really viable, but I hope not. I haven't played warlock in so long. I'm really digging it. I was a druid for a long time. Simply because the warlock damage was so terrible. But they fixed it when they added the archetype, or Acolyte of Skin. They changed the damage dice and actually made the bursts and blasts like viable again. So, oh, you're switching? You think you're going to go Magus and what's GA? Off the top of my head, I'm not. Do I need to fight these red caps? I hope. Oh, Dark Imposter. Gotcha. I think the turning from Exalted Angel is going to be crazy overpowered. And I have a feeling that everybody's going to use it. I mean, epic moments suck pretty much because they're only up once every 5 minutes, but if once every 5 minutes you can banish everything, it's really good. Especially if you are in a group where all of you guys can do that and you just cycle through it. I mean, that would be crazy. So, I mean, that's what I don't understand. Why would they get rid of somebody being able to walk into a room and throw fire breath and make everything die? And they're just going to change it so a cleric can walk into a room and make everything die? It doesn't make any sense.
Alarmed, Foxpaw urges you to take the codex page he was studying.
Like I said, I'm trying to stay optimistic about it. Update 66. A lot of people are upset, though, by it. So, I mean, I'll play. They could basically completely ruin DDO. Like, make it so that it's unplayable, and I would still play. Like, I've played it since launch. Like, I'm committed. I think the only time I would really stop playing is if I just wasn't having fun. But,
You're not sure
you know, I
what this
think I can
desolate
always sort of
clifftop
come
might
up with
be.
something that
Judging
works
from the dim
for
red
whatever the meta
population,
is.
though, it's
It may not be
probably
exactly
somewhere
what I
in the
want to
east.
play, but, you know, it'll work. Like, Warlock is my favorite class, so I was really happy that I was able to come back to it, but I haven't been a Warlock for like 5 years. You know, because it just didn't make sense, like, to suffer that much. So I played a sorcerer, and then once they nerfed fire storks, I made an ice druid, and I was an ice druid for quite a long time. And it was super fun, like super fun, super strong. Just wasn't exactly what I wanted to play, because I really wanted to play a warlock. But they finally fixed it and put it back into a state where it's actually good. The damage is decent. Still not really S tier damage at all. Like, it's, you know, still low, but it's, you know, it's doable because you don't have to put a lot of thought into it, right? Like, I just have to burst. There it is, right there. That's the extent of it. Like, it's not like I have to really overthink it. And I have a lot of first life tunes. Like, I have a lich, like a wizard. I have a sork. I have a favored soul. I have a cleric. So I'll be able to test out and see, you know, what works really well.
You're still hounding us? Then I need something bigger.
I also have a I have a paladin, like a sacred fist paladin, and I have my thrower monk. A few other tunes. I have a whatever the new druid is, like a Blightcaster. I don't really play melee though. Like, I have a barbarian, but it's low level. And I have not tried out like the new ranger, you know, as like a long play. I made one on the hardcore just to test it out. I thought it was fun. They seem to be in a really good spot. So.
We'll find your pages in a moment.
But I like Evarts so much that I want to stay
Where do you think those pages are?
on Warlock.
At first, you think
I
the
don't like
librarian
Acolyte's skin at all.
her deranged conversation with
It's
her.
awful.
But then, a massive night crawler bursts out to attack you.
But the secondary result of them adding that tree was to fix normal Warlocks. So I'll take it. And if Warlock is terrible, I could always go back to playing Sorcerer. I could do an Ice Sork in Haggis or something if I had to. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. Because it doesn't make any sense. Like, I like the gaze of evil, but the fear effect should not be a dispersal fear. It should cower them. You know what I mean? Like, they should be stuck, rooted. They shouldn't be running off every which way, because it's ridiculous to chase them all down when your eldritch shape is a beam It makes absolutely no sense. The other thing that makes no sense is tier 5 is a transformation that turns you into basically a demonic melee, that all of your eldritch
Brace
damage then is
yourself for
applied
another
to like a
attack.
claw bite attack or whatever.
The
And it
librarian is
makes
now
no
completely
sense why
engrossed in her
anybody
dialogue with the evil
who
artifact.
wants to play a
No,
warlock would do
no,
that.
no, that's
Nor does
100
it make
leagues
sense
away.
why somebody
Show me
who's
the
playing
pages near
melee would do
where
that. I
I
mean, I'm
am.
sure
We
it's
haven't much
somewhere,
time before
somehow,
he
somebody could come up with
arrives.
a use for that build that would take advantage of that. But I can't imagine why anybody would. If they made it so that when you transformed, you could like boost your eldritch damage for your blasts, okay, but it sets everything to melee. I don't know. Just didn't like it at all. I was completely confused by it. I couldn't understand who came up with that, considering all the different, like prestige classes that exist between D&D version 1 and 5e. Like, there just seems like better choices for adding a warlock archetype. But
To your surprise, Calvin Riek allows you to take the codex page the Aurum had collected.
when I see rooms like this, it makes me feel like they really need to give us player housing. So I still need one codex page. I don't understand why they don't give us player housing either, because Lord of the Rings Online, there's like 85 different ways to get housing. There's the old housing, and each one there's like 5 different zones. Then there's the new housing, and that one has like 5 different zones. It's like, how does Lord of the Rings Online have so many and we don't have any? We have guild ships, that's it. I think it would be a really good pass for them to do as well, because if they did a pass where they added player housing, then they could revisit the guilds, and then they could add all the changes that I keep asking them for at the end of every hardcore league. At the end of every hardcore league, I like send them a note with all the different things that we need. Like, we need more ranks. We all know this, right? Like, we really need more than 2 ranks. We can't just have member and officer. We need like ranks in between. Like, we need recruiter as a rank. We need the ability to name them like custom names. Like, what if I don't want to call them officers? What if I want to call them something else? If you've played Star Wars The Old Republic, you know, like, you have 10 ranks and you can call them whatever you want. Really good. Like, really cool.
The lecturer says you can take the codex page she was using as a prop.
I do plan to do that. Log into Star Wars The Old Republic and go over like all of my decorated strongholds. Spent a lot of time doing that in that game, so I think it would make for interesting content on a stream. The game itself is sort of not in a good state, so but used to be really good. And I still miss, my characters in that game, so
You place the codex pages on the device. This immediately draws the librarian's attention.
Okay, that's it, right?
What's that over there?
Yes, that's it.
More of your pages! Let
Hey,
me
give
get
me
them for you.
something.
The dispelment field flickers to life as you pull the
Nope.
switch, breaking the codex's hold on the librarian. What am I doing out here? Why isn't the codex in the library? While this crisis is over, it's clear you'll need to find a permanent
Nothing.
way to deal with the codex.
Hope
and
you guys
its
are having
corrupting
better
aura.
loot luck than I do. No double slots.